Welcome to Folded, Creased, and Crumpled. I'm Tina,
And I'm Anna.
and today we're going to talk about my Bujo. My Bujo layout. I'm quite excited. So here already we're starting, and I'm showing you that I'm using the Rhodia A5 notebook,
Great notebook.
and it is. And the pencil I'm using is a 2H Supreme Basic. It actually is something I got at Marshall's. It was a whole set. It had a bunch of pencils, sharpener, erasers, so that was a good buy. And then the eraser I'm using is the Pentel Click Eraser, which I love that thing. I've had it for years. It's a very good eraser. So I thought I'd do a quick little, I don't know how quick, but a nice little tutorial. I don't know if this is a tutorial, but like basically me showing you how I prepare for my monthly bullet journaling. So I'm so what I like to do is I like to start off like with the month, which here I'm doing the weekly layout. So it's kind of a little confusing. I don't know, but
Well, what's the theme though, Tina? I think it's a celebratory theme this month.
yeah, so this is a February one, and so I decided February is usually Valentine's Day. People are like, anytime you see any kind of bujo, it's all Valentine's. And I did do that for most of it, and then I realized, oh my gosh, it's Chinese New Year or like Lunar New Year, and I'm Chinese. I celebrate it. So then I thought, hey, I never did one for that. So then I decided on this layout specifically that I was going to create a Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year layout. So I thought a lot because there's so much. There's so much going on. There's firecrackers, there's lanterns, there's lion dancing, there's red pocket money for the singles. And, uh, a friend of ours actually said something really funny the other day, and I have to talk about it. But she mentioned like her family or her boyfriend's family was always like, "Oh, when are you guys gonna get married?" Blah blah blah. And then she said, "Well, if we get married, we don't get red pocket money. We're gonna stay single as
Not
possible."
wrong.
Right? It was actually really funny when she told me this. So here we are. I'm just building on different types of lanterns because I don't like to have the same lantern across, and there's so many cool designs. So some of them actually have like candles that you put in the middle, and some people like let it go kind of thing. I don't know if anybody's seen Rapunzel, but there's a scene where a lot of people just like release these lanterns with the lights, and it's exactly like that. And there's some where obviously it's like flashlight type, and then there's types where they go and they put little like those electrical lights in there, like the
The
they look
battery,
like
you mean?
yeah, the battery operated lights.
Okay.
Electrical battery lights in there, and then that way they just walk around the streets. Just it's a celebratory time. It's celebrating the new year. I mean, you know how it is. It's a happy time, a good time. You wishing people like good fortune and good health, and just a time to celebrate. So it's a lot of different types of lanterns. And if you're in Asia, sometimes they even have like cool like they make different ones. Like they'll have like a Sanrio one. So Sanrio is like these Japanese like Hello Kitty Sanrio, like Batsumaru Sanrio. So they have create a lantern with their faces on it and sell it that way. So then kids will have it. And they do that for the Mid Autumn Festival as well.
So I noticed you're drawing different shapes of lamps. Do they represent different things, or it's just a different style of lamp
It's
celebrating
just
the
a
same thing?
it's just a different style of lamps. Yeah. It's just like a whole cool thing. So I'm trying to so at this point where I'm getting kind of to the end of the part of like end of the first section of what I'm thinking I'm gonna do, I'm like lanterns. I'm already thinking like, what's my next move? right? Because I don't know if you see, there's kind of like a space between this lantern that I'm
Yeah.
drawing right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't draw another lantern because then it kind of messes with my spacing. So then it's like, what do I do with that space? So then you know, I cut this out obviously, but there was a good like lag of like 5 minutes of me with a pencil like this. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Happens to me all the time. And so I decided I was going to draw bubble letter of Year of the Ox. Like, just write that out because it's not really signified anywhere on there. And I didn't want to put like Happy Chinese New Year. So I thought Year of the Ox because that's what the year it is.
So
That's what it is this year.
I need to stop you for a moment, Tina.
Okay.
How long did it take you to master the bubble letter? Because I noticed you're doing this all in one take.
Honestly, I've done it since I was a kid. I'm a
Really?
huge,
Okay.
yeah, I love bubble letters. That definitely was something that I've always done.
Well,
And
I,
this
I
isn't
think
even,
it's
this is like a thinner bubble letter. I used to do like the thick,
the
like
massive ones.
yeah, the massive bubble letters.
Okay. So, Year of the Ox.
Yeah, you're the ox, so I thought that's the perfect port,
Side ribbon,
yeah,
border.
perfect order for it. I gave it enough room. So then from that point on, while I was doing that, I realized people always put up, like when they draw Chinese New Year, it's always like this like kawaii little boy, little girl in the dress, the traditional dressing of Chinese New Year, and it's always like there's always money involved and there's always firecrackers involved. And I want to do something different, so I actually have a reference photo next to me
Okay.
to draw this. So this is not like, I know what um a lion looks like. This is like the traditional lion dancing. So that's what I chose to do. I know what the lion looks like, but I needed a visual, and everything that I've ever watched tutorial wise, or following people who do draw and are cartoonists and whatever, are always saying, do always put a reference photo.
Mm-hmm.
People always say if you're a true artist, you don't use reference photos. And people
Really?
who are true artists are like, no, you use reference photos because it just helps you get all the details that you might be missing in your head, right? Like in my head, I could just be drawing like a stereotypical line,
Right.
but that's not what the line dancing is. And there is so much details. This is just one head of a lion. Like there's other designs of the head of the lion.
Different variations.
Yeah, and I don't think it means anything different. I think it's just as the years progress, the lines progress, right? It's just
Right.
change it up. So here I am. I'm drawing the cow or the ox because,
Mm-hmm.
it's Year of the Ox. And I was like, I don't have the ox in here. So I thought I'd do a kind of like a little badge of the ox. And so I decided to do that. One thing that's good about the pencil is because right now I'm looking at this, I'm like, I don't really like the circle that I've created around the ox. So one thing that's good about it is that later on when I'm outlining it in black, I don't have to outline that. Like that'll be something I'll erase. So now I'm doing the left side of the page, which is usually my weekly part. So I've decided to do something in my head where it's, with markers and stuff and it has like an outline, but you'll see that. So this is like the the thought process
Oh, click
that I'm
art.
showing, right? So
Fancy.
I brought my I brought click art. So I wanted to show that this is what I'm going to use to color. So I'm using click art and the Zig Clean Clear Dots markers.
Those are cool markers too.
Yeah, I really like them. So now this one here is the Tombow Mono drawing pen. It's a 01, so it's a really thin tip. I like using it to do the tracing of the outline. So that's basically what I'm doing, is just outlining everything. And then the best part is whatever I'm like, ugh, when I drew it on pencil I didn't like, I'll just, just not draw it in with the black pen, right? So one thing everyone needs to remember is when you do outlining, so I just did a fast forward so you didn't have to sit there the whole time, but that's what it all looks like. So when you do an outlining, see, I didn't put that badge in, but when you do outlining, I just want to state the fact that do not erase the pencil mark until that ink is dry.
Yes, that's excellent advice.
People, if you just do it right away, you're going to smudge it. And I've learned
Yeah.
from that mistake.
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way too.
Yeah.
And even
So right
when you
now,
think it's
sorry, go
dry,
ahead.
give it another minute.
Yeah. Just basically go on to something else and then come back to it later. So right now what I'm doing is I'm doing multicolor and I'm just creating dots. And I've seen this actually a lot of times people do this with their art, is they kind of like misplace the outline.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see what I'm talking about. So again, I'm taking the 03, so it's a little bit thicker tip, and I'm doing it like that. So it basically is you're drawing the circle outside of it to create kind of like I don't know, like a
Almost,
dimension of it.
right. Almost also kind of like a shadow as well,
Yeah.
in a weird way.
So yeah, once I'm done that, I was like, I trust me, I've already felt everything and whatnot. So it's already been touched. The black ink is dry. So now I'm just coloring everything in, and there's going to be a lot of red and gold. So that's what that is. So I think I try to like fast forward through most of it, but I mean it's coloring, right? You'll see it. A lot of times I change things up too, because usually I use a sketchbook and pre-plan everything, and actually like have the sketchbook where I just like this is what I'm going to do for this week or this month, and that's it.
It looks amazing, Tina. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's awesome.
I'm glad you guys like it. Yeah, it took me technically about an hour and a half to do this.
From start to finish.
Yeah, to start to finish. And yeah, so this is like the February one that I did. This is the last one for February.
That's awesome. Let us know in the comments what you do for February. Do you do the typical Valentine's Day Bujo, or do you do something off the cuff or something cultural like the Lunar New Year? Let us know.
Yeah, for sure. So, everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all your post notifications. And we'll see you next week. Peace.